Alright, so I'm Adam David Collins, the author of Jewel of the Stars, and today I am doing a live writing session just for a bit of fun. And I'm starting a brand new project. I've got lots of editing that I need to do, but it's been such a long time since I've just sat down and actually just written something. So I thought this morning, let's have a bit of fun. I've had a project rattling around in the back of my mind that I thought could be an interesting thing to tackle. It's a new story. It's a bit of an unusual format. It's essentially going to be written in the form of a fictional blog. So, kind of the found footage movie of the writing world. Of course, it is going to be science fiction, because that's what I mostly write. It's going to be called Shuttle Life. The basic concept, kind of like the van life kind of community that has kind of sprung up on YouTube, where people kind of leave their homes behind, they buy a camper van and they just drive around living in their van, going from place to place and exploring the world. So what is my brain going to think when I hear about that? Of course it's going to think, well, instead of a van, why not a spaceship? So that's the concept of this. It's a family who have sold their house, bought a spaceship, and they're heading off into space, and they're going to live the shuttle life. And the story will be written in the form of fictional blog posts, and it's something that I can just kind of post on Wattpad, just as a way of building a bit more awareness of myself as a writer, and yeah, just to see if pick up a few readers that way. So that could be interesting, or it could be a complete disaster, who knows. Either way, there'll be a bit of fun trying. So as you can see here, I have opened up a brand new project in Scrivener. So let's go for our very first scene. We shall call this. Let's turn that volume down a little bit. Let's call this first post. I will want to put some dates on this. Alright, so this first post, and probably the majority of posts, are going to be written by the wife in the family. Now, her name is Aisha, but her husband is going to write some posts as well. His name is Blake. So he's kind of a mechanic. He has been studying up all about the spaceship since they bought it. He's going to be the engineer. He's going to keep the ship running. And she is a doctor. So those two jobs will serve them very well heading off into space alone, without a whole lot of support behind them. And they've got two kids. They've got a teenage son and a 6-year-old daughter. It occurs to me that I haven't actually given them names yet, but that's fine. Names tend to come later for me anyway. Alright, so let's say so Aisha is of a Malaysian background. Blake is of a Italian background, but they're both kind of several generation Australians. This is kind of weird. This is the first time I've ever really written something completely within the point of view of a fictional character. Usually when you write, there's narration. I mean, I write in a very close, deep point of view, but this is different. I mean, this, I suppose, is like writing in first person, but it's more than that. It's writing in first person in universe. Like, the actual writing is being done by the character. which is not quite a literal thing in most first-person narratives. It means the writing is... It's going to be a very different style of writing. Hopefully it won't be too far removed from normal fictional writing to be boring. But I've always been more of a story guy than a prose guy anyway. Prose is something I need to work on more. Okay, so... Well, I got this new mechanical keyboard, and I thought it would be great because when I'm typing on my laptop keyboard, the side of my wrist is forever kind of bumping the trackpad and making the mouse move and do all sorts of crazy stuff while I'm typing. I thought once I got my external keyboard, it'll be so different. The thing is, I keep bumping something on the keyboard and just making crazy things happen, like other windows appearing, and like that one there, that was probably just bumped to the Windows key. But yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing. Yeah, there's going to be some backstory about why they want to leave Earth. There's been some hard stuff, and some of it's been to do with their son. I'm not going to reveal all of that in this very first post of the story, but that will come out over time. Now, I'm a big outliner. I usually plan out an entire story, every single scene, before I start writing. I haven't done that with this, so I don't have all the answers. I'm actually not, I don't know all the details about what has happened to them and to make them say, look, let's just get off Earth, we're done with this planet. So I'm going to formulate some of that over time. It's pretty uncomfortable to be writing something without a clear laid out plan of absolutely everything, but just trying something different. Basically, this is such a different form of writing. Like, it's just going to be an ongoing thing. It's like I'll be telling multiple stories. Whoa, sorry about that. Let's go over my keyboard cam. But it appears to still be working, so that's something. Okay, now what was I saying? Yeah, so I'll be telling multiple stories over the course of this thing. It's just going to be a long-term thing, and I'm not going to be holding myself to any kind of schedule. I'll write a post every now and then. If this thing becomes popular, I'll write more. Who knows? If it's less popular, I may write less. But it's just something to just get me actually writing some words. Editing is an important part of being an author, but sometimes you just want to write something. Otherwise, writing just becomes another job. And it was originally a hobby for me, and I want it to still be something that I enjoy doing just for fun. And this project is a just for fun kind of project. Which is not to say I'll never actually publish it properly, but it is written initially for Wattpad. But yeah, if I come up with something that I think is worth publishing, there's no reason I can't combine those posts together and publish it as an ebook. Now, I should also change the setting on my keyboard. I've got this really awesome ripple effect. So, as you can see here, the keyboard is all dark. But when I type a key, I get like a light kind of ripple effect coming out, like throwing a rock in a pond of water. So that's really cool. Hopefully that'll look interesting as I type. She's getting pretty vulnerable right up front here, isn't she? She's obviously been feeling a little bit of judgment, probably from other people, as she's told them that they're planning to do this. And the questions they're going to be asking, what about your son? You're taking him away from home. What if he wants to go to university? What if he wants to get a job? And so by starting this blog, she's got all those questions that have been constantly asked of her, and so she just wants to get all of that out there so that she doesn't continue to get judgment coming towards her for this decision that they've decided for their family. That's a placeholder until I come up with a name for the son. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, I should probably do something like that, just to make it easier to find. I can do a find or a place rather than just a find. So you can imagine this is an introductory post where she's essentially telling people what this blog is going to be about, which kind of serves also as explaining to readers in the real world what this story is going to be about. For some reason, Scrivener just does not recognize learned. Unless it is just learned. That could be a... I'm not sure. Anyway, that'll do. Some of these words are different from country to country. I am not sure which is correct here in Australia. But obviously, learnt with a T is the American way, which is what this software tends to be based on. I don't know if you can actually change the language. I think I have tried in the past. Anyway, no one wants to watch me mess around with that. Oh, hey Harry, if you're still watching. My son clicked onto a watch. Okay, so what else are we going to do here? The beginning of a story needs to have a strong hook, and when you're writing a book, it's different to a movie, which sometimes will start kind of really wide, and kind of focus in on a character afterward. A book is supposed to start close in on a character, and then it can kind of go wide and show you the vista around them. This feels like it's breaking every rule of how you're supposed to start a story. It's very telly rather than showy, which is kind of the nature of this kind of fictional blog idea. And I really don't know if it's going to work. I don't know how many people before me have tried writing a story in this kind of format. I mean, I know there's plenty of... There is a genre, I think they call them episcopal fiction or something like that. But basically stories written as letters or journals. It is a genre, and it can be done, presumably quite well. I haven't really read anything in the way of those kind of stories, which I probably should have done before starting to tackle this, but then I'd be reading and not writing, wouldn't I? So yeah, I'm really not sure how well this is going to translate, how much people are going to want to keep reading after experiencing this. my hope is with this first post that it's almost like reading the back cover of a book. You're getting an idea of what the story is going to be about, and I'm hoping that that's a strong enough hook to make this beginning work. I'm really not happy with how this is going. This is live running for you. I will probably... I'm going to write a number of posts before I actually start posting this thing, and I'll probably do a decent amount of editing on them before I do that. Get myself a bit happier with it. This is very much first draft kind of material. But starting the story is always... often at least the hardest bit, and particularly when you're starting to such an unusual new genre like this. I think I'm going to keep a lot of these posts fairly short as well. So this actually might be almost nearing the end of what I want this first one to be. Alright. Probably change that quite a bit, but that is going to basically be the first post. Now this is not just going to be one huge adventure story with life-threatening situation after life-threatening situation. Although I will probably have aspects of that in the story as it goes. But, now I've watched a lot of travel vlogs on YouTube, and very rarely are they, about disasters and life-threatening situations, but good vloggers build a story up around what's happening in their day-to-day life, and they build drama out of the smaller things. Like you've got a hire car, you've gone out somewhere and you've lost your car keys, for example. That's kind of a trope I'm going to twist a little bit in an upcoming part of this story. So I'll be looking for those kind of things to bring drama into the story. But one of the big things I want to bring out of this is a sense of wonder, of exploring the universe. That's something that we'd all love to do. Now, this post is going to be written by Blake. I'll need a name for the ship as well. The interesting thing about a story like this is you can even make it a bit interactive, because on Wattpad people can comment on your story. Now I can almost kind of treat those comments as in-universe interactions. So for example, I could have my characters ask for suggestions on what they should name their ship, and if readers could make suggestions on the post, and then my characters can kind of choose between them. Now, there's some interesting things you can do in that kind of format that you can't do in a traditional book. So that could be interesting. think of a suitable name that the daughter might want to call it. Something that, you know, a kid would come up with, but that the parents would just not want to call their ship. That could be a clever way to actually try and get some engagement, which could be helpful for the Wattpad algorithms. If depends if readers kind of get the idea that they can actually kind of take part in the story by treating the comments as if they were in-world comments on the fictional blog. Now, I'm kind of modelling the interior of this ship on the cabin that we had on our last cruise. We had an internal cabin, and it was very compact, to say the least. And I just remember laying in the bed thinking, you know, this is not the most comfortable room we've ever stayed in, but it was very clever the way they made use of the space. So the bed was at the back, and then there were two kind of bunk beds that came down from the ceiling for the kids to sleep on. And it struck me that if you were building a spaceship, you would want to think through using the space in the most efficient way possible, kind of the way they had in this little internal cabin. And so I'm just lying there thinking, you know, if I was designing a fictional spaceship, it would probably look very similar to this. So that's exactly what I've done. This living area is probably going to be slightly bigger than what we had in the cabin, but it's still similar. Right, so what I've described there is basically what we had as our cabin on the cruise ship. What I add now, kind of further towards the front of the ship, is going to be extra stuff that I'm inventing for the story, for this ship. Now, this is an idea I've had for a while. I was thinking, if you are a family traveling on a spaceship, you're not going to be wanting one of the members of the family to be up the front, flying the ship all day long, all night long. You're probably going to have some kind of autopilot, particularly when you're traveling through interstellar distances, even at warp or whatever I decide to call the FTL technology in this world. There's a whole lot of open space out there, but you're going to be wanting to monitor things all the time. And I figured, extrapolating from today's technology, you're going to have some kind of a device, probably a tablet, and that's going to have the software on it to control the ship system. So technically you don't even need a cockpit or a bridge. But where's the fun of a spaceship without a bridge? So I still want to have it there. And, the husband does like to go up there and sit in the chair and fly the ship from time to time. But he doesn't have to be up there all the time. As long as one of them have got a tablet with them, connected to the ship's systems, they can monitor everything. They can steer the ship. They can control it from wherever they are. He can fly the ship from bed if he wants. And that seems kind of reasonable to me. Plus, it makes it feel more like a present-day camper van if you've actually got, a section up the front where you drive and then the living space behind it. Spoken like a true parent, of course. And what parent doesn't need to get away for some quiet time every now and then? Alright. I'm going for 42 minutes, Alright. And you notice here, again, this is the second post of the story, and it's still very telly. It's still very kind of dumping exposition on the reader. This is what the spaceship was like. But it feels realistic from an in-universe perspective. They're going to want to explain this stuff. But I think the key to making this stuff work is to keep these posts really short. And try and put as much character as I can into the way that they're written, which is another reason why I'll be wanting to do some editing on this stuff before I actually start posting it. But you can't edit an empty document, can you? Don't edit as you go, Adam. Now, I remember what it was like being in that little cabin on the ship. You didn't spend much time in there. It was a place to sleep, but, you could barely walk around it. You wouldn't want to spend a lot of time in there. I mean, on a cruise ship, you've got the whole ship to explore. So if this family are going to be stuck on this spaceship for an extended period of time as they travel between worlds, they're going to get some cabin fever. And so I really, to make this believable, I need to give them, particularly when they've got a 6-year-old kid. So the idea of this omnidirectional treadmill with a VR headset, it means they can get off the ship. They can explore, kind of like the holodeck on Star Trek, but not quite as technologically magical as that. I can just see them using that a lot. They can go for walks in the park. They can feel like they're not in this cramped little spaceship all the time. And they're traveling to planets. They're going to be spending a lot of time on the planets once they're there. But for those periods of FTL travel between worlds, this is going to come in really handy for them, I think. Need to put a lot more character into this writing. Okay. Right, I've established the premise, I've established 2 characters, and I've established the setting, being the ship. And I'm also going to be, because this is written as a fictional blog, I'm going to be adding images as well. So I can come up with a little deck plan of the spaceship and put it in the post as an image, which I think could be kind of cool. I've already got a couple of photos that I've chosen to represent the 2 main characters. I probably need to come up with photos for the kids as well. So I'm thinking, like on you often see on a blog, there'll be a little thumbnail image of the author with their name who wrote this post. Just do little things like that to make it feel like a blog post. Alright, well, I have written 2 posts here. I've made a start on this story. Been going at this for 48 minutes. I've got some other things to do with my life today, so I should probably move on. But I can say I've actually started, and I've actually written something. What have I written today? You probably won't see this on the stream because it's a different window, but if I bring that up... I've written 1,054 words today. That's not bad just for mucking about. So, yeah. I may come back and do a little more of this later today, but I do have some editing on my next book that I really should be working on. Plus our washing machine is kind of broken down. It's not draining the water out, so we're going to have to figure out a way to deal with that today, which I'm not looking forward to. That's why I'm writing, because I'd rather be writing than facing that, because I'm not handy. Anyway, I think I might end this here now. So, thanks to anyone who has watched. I hope it was at least moderately interesting. And I probably need to make these a bit more interesting. Talk more as I go, perhaps. But it's all practice. I'm thinking of doing more behind-the-scenes video content for my writing. But it's something that I need to practice to actually make it entertaining to watch. So that's the primary reason why I streamed my writing session today. It's just practice. It probably wasn't that exciting, but the more I do it, probably the more exciting I can make it in the future. So, yeah, that's that. Thanks for watching, and catch you later.